Things we go through and do and see and say and hear and tussle with, love on, struggle with, get over, get into, all that stuff. We hope to collect a useful menagerie. Life is a hiker. And everything he learns and does and picks up, and from skill sets to coping mechanisms and just life skill sets, he puts them in a backpack. Using that analogy to life and the things we go through and do and see and say and hear and tussle with, love on, struggle with, get over, get into, all that stuff. We hope to collect a useful menagerie, if you will, of items to put in the pack. And hopefully that pack's light enough to carry, and we can get about going where we want to go and doing what we want to do, And I got to thinking, it's vital. It's absolutely vital that we pay attention to what we're carrying along, put in the pack. And, it's kind of a dead analogy, I got into a relationship with baggage. I don't mean like that. I mean more about paying really close attention to what our essentials are. And, what they are for you. And I believe they're a little bit different for people in detail, but in practice they're similar. We all need food, water, that sort of thing, but I'm talking more about skills like dealing with tough people, honoring good people, teaching kids things, just everything that's important that we do, that we need to have certain skill sets and tools to do well enough to honor the subject of the whatever relational task that is for the person we're helping out. So back to the backpack. The backpack fills up pretty quick, and we have to know what we're putting in it. And so I kind of challenged myself to start really considering the things in my life that are toxic and the things that are precious, because at the end of the day, the goal is to have no toxic things and all precious things, because life is a hike and it can get pretty dang hairy, and you need to be able to travel light and sustain yourself. So you only want things in there that are just really precious to life. And I think that as we go along life, we pick up some things along the way that are hard to carry, and they kind of even can contaminate other things in the pack. One of the things that we need, and this is the whole point of this little rant, is we have to be really vigilant about all those precious things, and each are valid in their own right. But one I want to just say today to consider, just for everybody to consider, is a little something that my friend said to me that his grandmother taught him. And man, it just always stuck with me so heavy, and so, not heavy, but just so deeply rooted in me, I can never forget it. He said his grandmother told him that the key to life, and again, which is those precious things, is to stay sweet in your soul. And if you have that, you remain untouchable. You remain soft, not in a weak way, but soft in a way that you don't crack, you don't break. You can take blows against you and know that they don't define you, these circumstances coming against you. And so stay sweet in your soul, when somebody does something horrible to you, and If you've had that done, you know what it is. I most certainly have, especially the past couple of years. Those of you that know me know what I'm talking about. And it was tempting not to stay sweet to my soul. And that's why my friend told me that, because he knew I was considering going the other route. And I'm so happy that I didn't. But I still got a long way to go to get back to that sweet place. But way down deep, it's there. And I just wanted to impart that to everybody, you know, that the significance of that. Because if you're sweet in your soul, if you're sweet way, way, way down deep, and by sweet, I don't mean being a punk or a wimp or, you know, I mean somebody kind and generous and honorable and can hunt with the best of them, ride with the best of them, and play with kids as good as anybody, and somebody who's just alive, and they're sweet because they understand that life truly is beautiful, and that there is evil, you know, but we don't break to that. You know, there is nefarious things that happen. People do horrible things, and we don't relent. We don't to fall into the temptation of becoming embittered by it. Because a lot of times, you know, and I think we all forget this, and I know I do too, especially amid heavy affronts to your person, that we forget that the attack has nothing to do with that moment. I always got to try to consider, like, what's the end game here? Like, if I don't want to be hoodwinked, you know, I don't want somebody shake their right hand out and wiggle their fingers, and I look at it and they punch me with a left hook because they're left-handed, and I didn't consider that. So nobody wants to be a chump, you know, but so I think it's important, and I think it's been a good tactic for me to consider what's the end game for this perp here, like this person coming against me, like why are they doing that, and you know, why did they lie about me, or why did they take from me, or why did they do this thing? And it all really comes back to something so much deeper than that stolen thing, or that hurt pride, or that damaged ego. It comes back to those dark forces wanting to cause you to not be sweet in your soul. That sounds so good. So, what's the word? Fruity, so wimpy, so whatever, so non-manny, so non-adventuring. Well, I'm not adventuring right now. I'm riding around in the dang city because I can't finish my mods. We need to pay very close attention to what is precious. Example, and I'm just making this up as I go, 100%. An example would be it's Sunday. You've been working really hard all the time, and you got a presentation due for work Monday. And so you're like, you know what? I cannot enter another Monday behind. I've got to finish this thing. Like, I just can't face it. And then you're, you know, kind of cliche, but your little daughter comes up and says, hey, you know, can we play tea? Have a tea party? And you're like, no, because I buy all the food and keep the roof on. There wouldn't be no tea if Daddy wasn't buying that juice. So you're justified in doing your thing. And sometimes that has to happen. I get that painfully. My work is, for the past 10 years, been all deadline work. You know, it's crank, newspapers and things like that. So, but sometimes we gotta consider that moment is more precious than what we're doing, and we gotta stop, and we gotta take the time and just sow into something precious that you can put in your pack, and then it becomes part of you. And I think a lot of times we find that the work we have to do is a lot more pleasant, completely more pleasant. And we're able to get it all done anyway. When you take some time for somebody else, you're also, you know, doing something for yourself, because that's what we're made for, is to relate, connect, and assist, and you know, shows are made for crying on and dying by, and I believe that we forget that. We get so bent up in this world. You know, when was the last time you hugged your daughter? You know, we think that they're all this, they're all that. You know, they're 17 or whatever, and they're, you know, don't want you around, or all these teenage things, and they probably appreciate the heck out of a hug, you know, and feel it and sense it if you meant it. And those are precious things. There's so many, and I got a little sidetracked there. It's been a long day, but just, you know, I want to consider that. I mean, you know, if you got anything that you think you need to remind anybody, you know, put it in the comments, because, man, life is short, and I tell you guys, I went through some crap. They just blow you away. You wouldn't even believe it. You literally would just be like, nah, he's lying. And just recently, and about killed me, and I didn't want to stay sweet, as I mentioned earlier, and you don't want to go there. You don't want to go there. There's people that's gone through worse than me, but they don't get a whole lot worse, unfortunately, for Bonnie and I, but it is what it is. So that is it. Stay sweet in your soul by collecting only the precious things, by carrying only the things that are essential to a good life. And I believe that is a good way to be. And I don't know how everybody out there feels, and I don't know what anybody is struggling with or not struggling with, but I'm here to say is a blood-breathing heathen that God is still sovereign, and will always be sovereign. And Father, I understand that you take us through all things. I've been in some of the darkest places lately, Dad, and I just don't always know what to do. And just when I go to when you thought of you, it's gone, and it just heals. And I believe that you put a challenge in everybody's heart, like you put in mine, to consider that even though I'm older and I've been through so much, that you're not done with me. You know, you're not done with me, and that's a neat feeling. You know, sometimes we forget that, Lord. And so I thank you for all your reminders and all the blessings and all the precious things that you've allowed me to put in my pack, Lord, and the grace you've given me for the foolish, malignant things I've allowed in my pack. Lord, keep us hiking and keep us strong. We're blessed to be alive. Amen.